Welcome to the final episode of 2024, 50 Shades and Grey. Had a really exciting year, the first year of the podcast. We've had some great guests who have been funny, have been informative, and I've learned a hell of a lot through the first year of doing this podcast. The feedback from you guys has been great, and obviously without your support, there'd be no point in me doing this. So I'm so pleased that you've found something in the podcast that you want me to carry on doing it in season 2, which will start in January. The whole podcast for me this year has been a real big experience, and it's been about finding my way. We're going to look at some of the best bits of the episodes. Hope you enjoy them.
It's lovely putting something somewhere and no one moves it. It's lovely, like putting something somewhere and then it not be gone. And it's lovely as well knowing exactly what's in the fridge without knowing that someone might have ate it. That's what I love. Like, if I've got chocolate, I know it's going to be there at the end of the day, whereas like you don't know whether it's going to still be there. Like, that's the risk you take. Like, has Exact might have ate that, and then you come in and you got it.
It's just food in general.
Yeah. Whereas like I know exactly what's in my fridge. Like it's just nice. And also I think it's nice as well, like after a long busy day, just coming in and just kind of not having to like explain myself to anyone, I can just switch off, put on a movie, and then when you are feeling in that way, it is nice to be just kind of fully on your own. So there is definitely good things about it. It's just as well, like even though it's been hard.
I don't want to buy you presents that could be regarded as communal presents. Like, I don't know if couples have that, like married couples or even people, boyfriend and girlfriend.
What do you mean by communal presents?
As in, say I got you something for the house, like let's say a new Dyson Hoover. Although that's for you, you're not really going to open it and be like, you know what? Because it's just for the house and it's something that we can both use.
Yeah, don't buy me a Dyson Hoover.
No, but it's a good present though.
It's not.
Why?
If that's where, I don't want someone buying me a Hoover.
Yeah, but some people would appreciate that.
No one would appreciate getting a Hoover.
It's like Christmas. Saying if a husband, let's say,
I don't know a lot about relationships, but don't ever buy your girlfriend or wife a Hoover.
No, but let's say they bought something for the dog for the wife. It's like a communal present. Do you know what
That's
I mean?
An awful present. That's like literally zero thought.
Or like a new knife set.
What is wrong with you? They seem to be the pictures that I hear most of them from feedback. The guys are putting on pictures of them holding fish, and women are like, "What's all this about? Why do guys like show you fish?" You wouldn't do that if you was out. You wouldn't sort of get your phone and go, "Yeah, listen, have a look at this. This is the fish I caught at the weekend," because you know that girl is going to run a mile, or girls like. Why would you like headstands? What's the headstand thing about? You're not going to meet a guy out in a bar and go, "Do you want to see me do a headstand? I can do a headstand because I do yoga. I'm going to show you a headstand. Let me do it right here now." The guy's going to think, "Gee, what is going on here?" So our behaviour on apps is completely different to how we act in real life. And I get it doesn't work on the apps, so you need to be selling yourself, but as a guy, did it bother you knowing that the person that you were just going, I'm talking to, I presume that you told the person this as well, did you?
Yeah. So I would tell them, and sometimes they would think that was really quite odd, they weren't comfortable with it. Like, what do you mean you're not talking to anyone else? Go and talk to other people. Like, this is too intense, which I get, it's the way it is.
Needy.
Yeah, too needy. Yeah, you're too sensible about dating. Go and date loads of people. That's a much better idea. But yeah, so I did, and sometimes people thought, "Oh, that's a bit unusual," and other times people thought, "That's great. You're actually just into getting to know me." It's like, yeah.
And I just said to him, "Bruce, I said, first of all, can I say I'm a huge fan of yours. I genuinely am, and I love some of the films that you've done, and I think you're really adventurous in some of the roles that you've chosen, including this film today. But can we just start afresh? Because we got off to a bad start, and I'd like to ask you some proper, serious questions about you and your craft." He spent about 30 seconds just looking me up and down like I was a little mouse. And then he goes, "Sure." And I go, "Thank you. Do you wear boxer shorts or briefs?" As the first question. The whole room was already quiet, but everybody went even quieter. Their sphincters went, "Huh?" And his publicist was like that. They were all like, "How dare this idiot say that?" He looked at me and he took about 10 seconds and then he burst out laughing. He actually thought, "I can't believe somebody's been that cheeky, twice.
I thought it was really nice. I thought everyone was really genuine, great characters. Being honest, I think it lacked a bit of spice. I think, for example, we spoke to Paul after the first week, which I thought was good, really good, solid first week. And he said, oh, it really gets going in the second week. And I am still waiting. But I thought there'd be more turns, twists and turns. I just think everyone was so nice in there. And I thought this season, the one thing I said is I thought it'd be a lot more entertaining. And I use quotation marks because I think production-wise, they would have had a lot more twists and turns, a lot more triangles, a lot more back and forth. And it was just still sort of the same vibe. And I thought there'd be more figures in there to cause stirs and a few more arguments, but it was pretty much the same, but less so, I'd actually say.
One is the fact that therapy creates that space to talk. And we don't always have that in life. You know, you have to feel safe to be able to open up and to be vulnerable. And if you don't have that in your day-to-day life, or you haven't cultivated those relationships to that point yet, then having that really intentional space with a therapist can encourage that process along. So yeah, I think having a therapist, going through therapy, it's a journey that you start on, and it's really intentional. And hopefully, and I think what all therapists hope is that as you grow in confidence in opening up, and as you feel accepted, as you feel validated, then you might start feeling more able to have those conversations with people around you.
I did send you a voice note. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
He sent me a voice note saying I'll listen to the podcast.
Oh, it was very interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So
I thought he told you guys, which is a bit.
No, you didn't.
I've said to you.
You told us that you were going to tell us.
Yeah, but which I can't go into. But it's you know you're.
Can we have the world exclusive?
Act it out. This is the exclusive, but I've got something coming up in the next kind of few months, which you guys will be involved in.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And how will you
find out? That's not an exclusive when you don't tell us.
No, but I can't go into details at the moment.
You've got me.
Yeah.
So it's not an exclusive.
I will try to keep my journey short because it was a fairly long one in understanding what was happening to me. But I guess if I start around about the age of 41, I'd just had my third child. So, you know, a sort of later pregnancy, geriatric pregnancy is actually what they call it. I thought that the symptoms that I had were perhaps related to being a mum of three, having a young child. And I didn't really understand. I myself didn't know anything about perimenopause, menopause. And I went to the GP and they just sort of asked me about my life. They thought it was depression. A lot of women do get diagnosed with depression or misdiagnosed with depression when it's perimenopause. But I'm quite a good advocate for my own health.
You're away, but good luck to you.
Yeah, I've been away more in the past year than I have in my whole of my life. So, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, I know like since the show that your life has changed quite a lot. But what I wanted to focus on today was just talking about your life before the show. Because obviously people have seen and watched that. But like you said before we came on, like we all actually had lives before the show. So,
yes.
So what was you doing before the show?
Yeah,
tell everyone what you was doing.
Well, obviously I was single. So yeah, single mum to William, who is just about to turn 21. It's been myself and him for a long time. And probably a lot of single parents, it's a bit of a juggling act. So I have always been a singer, and I decided that it would be a good idea to throw myself more into singing. One of the main reasons would be so I could sing at weekends and be with William in the week, because in my head I could earn more doing that, and then that would like balance it out, and I could do the school run and things like that. But then,
David was still there.
Yeah, they didn't let David go to bed.
Beverage or probably
David was what they like you to do is they go, David, can you
pondering?
And David
didn't have it in him.
David was so uncomfortable on the couch he was on. He had no pondering left.
He was shattered.
Yeah, because that's a long day. That first day is a long day. You're sitting outside in a car for about 4 hours, no food, like no water. No, they do look after you, To be fair, they're really good ITV, and the crew there are fabulous. So they do look after you. But it's a long day. So David just wanted to go to bed. David was shattered, and he was pondering away, more pondering, because David, to add, fessed up to his last relationship. And again, fair play to David. Your partner forgetting your birthday, anniversary, date night, etc. Your partner not making you a priority, not seeing your partner for long periods of time, your partner not being intimate with you. I mean, it's quite an easy one for me.
Yeah.
What, the last one?
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah, I think, I think that's maybe more of a guy thing, because guys
But intimate's more than just like saucy, like a kiss and a cuddle.
I don't really get the criticising you in a non-constructive way. How can you criticise someone in a non-constructive way?
You can.
Can you?
Yeah, like, oh, you look so fat. That's not.
I think that's constructive.
That's non-constructive. No, because it would be like, do you think you should go? Should we both go to the gym tonight? It's constructive because it's
what
like,
if you're in really good shape?
How about if he said, should we both go to the gym tonight? I'll meet you there. In an hour.
You can run that.
A situationship.
A situationship. Well, that's what the kids are calling it. Normally, it's like not a great thing. It's what mostly guys do to women, where they want them around for a little bit. They want to have some sex, maybe a couple of dates. And when they can't be bothered and they mostly want to go out with their friends and concentrate on their job, they kind of push them to the side, right? So it's like that you're in, but you're not in. They're not committed to you in any way, but you're like a girlfriend, but you're not their girlfriend, right? So we make a joke that we're kind of in a situationship, because we meet up for a couple of weeks every 3 months or so and have this like amazing, it's like almost like having a honeymoon every time, because we have these great times and lots of sex and, it's fantastic. And then we fuck off again. And then we have our lives separate in separate countries where we chat online and do that kind of stuff, but we're not in each other's pockets. We don't owe each other anything.
One conversation can change everything so quickly, like one line.
Absolutely.
We had this conversation, the other day, didn't we? Where something can be going great with someone. You could be seeing someone and all the signs are there. You're having all the right conversations. And then there could be one sentence that just suddenly changes the landscape. They don't like. Yeah, either they don't like or you don't like. And that's the thing, you think as you get older as well, you only need the slightest thing to go, I know I don't like that. And I'm not getting over that, whether it may be, young kids, you find out that someone, I know you'd find that it's early, but as it starts to get more serious, know that I've had stories before where people sort of say, and then all of a sudden they said to me, they don't want to get involved with someone who's got young kids. And it was, they just can't be single. They cannot be on their own. They cannot be on their own in a house, in a situation. They can't turn up to a party on their own or a wedding on their own. And I think, people that are good at being single, they're very strong-minded people. They're very confident in themselves, maybe not outwardly all the time, but they're at peace in their own mind. And that's a really big aspect of it as well. You've got to be comfortable on your own, and you've got to enjoy your own company. And it's funny, with our kids, and you see the traits in them. And even with Zach now, I look at him sometimes, and he's so happy to be on his own sometimes. He's quite content. He loves company. He loves going out in company, the same as me. But there are times when he can just be on his own. He just likes his own company. And I think that's a really good quality to have. I've loved listening to you. It's been it really has been an education for me. I would just like to say thank you for coming on and talking about this. I've just felt like I've sat here and just listened to you, which is great. I wish you was my GP. That's the best compliment I can pay you, I think. It's so great listening to you. So thank you. Philippa's book obviously is out. If you're going to spend your money on anything, I would suggest that you go out and buy Philippa's book, The Science of Menopause. Because I think, as Philippa's already said, having knowledge is a great deal of power, and that gives you a place to start. And I think it's really important that we all talk about about it, and for men as well in relationships to understand it, Philippa. I think that's really important as well, as you said already. But thank you for coming on to 50 Shades of Grey. Thank you for your time. I know you've been extremely busy. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'll put all Philippa's details on here. You can follow Philippa on her Instagram, see her all the time on TV as well, and go out and get her book. And we'll see you soon. Thank you for following 50 Shades of Grey.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand how relationships work. I understand after a certain period of time, it does sometimes get what people class as boring. But in my eyes, that's not boring. That's just becoming one. Do you know what I mean? One with each other. That's becoming family, and that's what you want basically in a long-term relationship. So I think she didn't really see that in the relationship. She just saw it. Oh, it got boring. It's got boring, and then it kind of ended like that. But it's like, I don't get me wrong, I was devastated, like, because I felt so blindsided, but I just didn't expect it at all. Like, her family were my family, if that makes sense. Like, it was just like a normal day. So I had to change my whole life. Like, I lost my home, my pet, like her family, which is mine. I lost everyone. So it was a big, big time in my life. But if I'm honest, I'm thankful because it helped me grow up.
So you've used a lot of words there that obviously I think have become more common in terms of love language and attachment styles. And do you think those are just miscommunications in relationships where people don't have those conversations in the early stages? Or do you think it's just...
I think all these tests are free online. So you can do these all free online. I think all these little tests and investigations and tools that you can use when you're building your relationship, I think they just give you language. I think they give you language to start a conversation. So there's 5 love languages are time, touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts. So, say we do the little test and our love language comes out as time and gifts. It opens up a conversation and says things like, what was the favorite gift? What's your favorite gift I ever bought you? Did you like that really expensive thing, or did you actually just like it when I brought you home that little packet of sweets the other day from the shop? I think it gives us language to start the conversations. That makes sense?
I think my perspective is I'm someone, my highest value is having integrity. So I wouldn't ever pretend or fake anything, any connection. If I don't feel a connection, you'd be able to see it all over my face, because I also am so crap at lying or faking things. It's unreal. So, for me, that it was a completely real connection. I didn't expect it. You go in there hoping, don't you? For me, I've been on my own for 7 years. I think it's 7 years. I always get very confused, but I've been on my own a long time. So I definitely had a real strong desire to meet someone to, do life with. So, when I first got in there, I did look around and I was like,
that was it.
Morning, how are you, buddy? Okay.
I'm very well. Got my coffee.
Well, you've got 96 people watching already. Haven't you got anything better to do, you people?
Hey, don't be mean to people. Don't jump on here and start being nasty to everyone.
Right. Nasty Martin has to be Nasty Martin, mate, isn't it?
I'd have never imagined. And even when I've met them, I come home and I sit there and I look at Jane and I'm like, did that just happen? Were we just...
So drop some names.
Barack Obama. Obviously, that's a lie. No, just Holly Willoughby, Christine Lovell. Sorry.
Your teeth came
not
out,
going
didn't
well.
they?
Could that be edited? Or I don't think I say that.
That's definitely going in. Holly Willoughby.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean Holly Willoughby. It's that. Yeah, just mental.
Oh, definitely. So, what I wanted to chat to you about, something that was of real interest to me last week, is on the show. We talk about a lot of midlife stuff that I think everyone can relate to, because we're all going to get to that stage eventually. But I didn't realise, like, your story, you literally changed your careers midlife to a career that you never done before.
Yeah, so
So I guess I followed in my dad's footsteps really for most of my sort of like very corporate, like capitalist. You know, when I was 11, I remember starting a little car wash round and collecting money, and I ended up employing one of my mates to wash the cars. Then I'd follow him around and collect the cash. And so it was very much like a capitalist environment. So I ran an IT and engineering recruitment business for that I started for 7 years, and I sold it, and then ran another recruitment business, part of a bigger company, and sat on the board for another 7 years. But do you know what, Elliot? I just got to a point where I really disliked going into the office. Like I don't know if it was like 15 years of doing it or what it was.
So I'm sure you've been asked this a few times. Have you got like an ideal woman, or will you know what it is when you find it, or what she is when you found her, or have you got a picture in your head of?
Not really. I mean, I think they quoted me as looking for Kate Moss, was me. I think that
all?
was growing up in the 90s, yeah. Remember, I mean, I'm not going, too high on my standards, but no, in the 90s, in the Face magazine and the Calvin Klein adverts, and very much into fashion, and I think she wears Burberry, so you never know. If I'm wearing this now, it might be an opportunity, but sort of, I like all sorts of ladies. I think the most important thing is that they are genuine, caring, have a good sense of humour, nice smile, nice eyes, and they just have an energy that matches yours, really.
You said to me, what is it about the 3 months? And what it is about the 3 months is that's about the amount of time, because I've found that when I was dating at that time, that a lot of them, like I said to you, they'd get to 3 months and then you'd both decide, or one of you would decide that you're not really for each other, and you go away. Because the amount of time that you actually spend with a person over a week when you first start dating is probably a couple of hours. So the first week is like 2 hours. You might see them a little bit more the second week, but probably not. So by the time you get to 3 months, you don't, you've only started to scratch the surface, but you've scratched the surface enough to start seeing them. Actually, our morals don't line up here. Like we're different people. You're a lovely person. I'm okay, but we're just not the same, and that's due to time.
Yeah, probably. How I think, again, knowing a bit about body language, I can kind of tell how they're looking at me, how they're perceiving me. I think I would read that. Not necessarily, I don't think everybody would be trying to read the other person, but I'm that sort of person that I would immediately be trying to read how they are towards me, what they're wearing, like I said. And unfortunately, you can tell in the first couple of minutes of meeting somebody if you fancy them or not, can't you? It's unfortunate that I think people take a couple of minutes to make a decision about that, about whether or not they actually would be interested in that person or not.
Okay, so we'll do both though. So we've sat down, you've had 2 minutes, you've realised that you quite like the guy after 2 minutes. Then how does the rest of the date look? For 2024, some great guests that we had on there, as I'm sure you will agree. Let me know what your favourite moment is, who your favourite guest was, and we will look forward to doing the all again in 2025. Make sure you subscribe and follow below. And once again, thank you for joining 50 Shades in Grey. Take care, guys. Bye.